Hi there, all you lovely geezers.
Welcome to the Sid City Social Club for Tuesday, March 8th. We're glad to see you. I'm Mel with SidCity.net. All right, over to Sid.
Yeah, welcome everybody. It's lovely to see you all. Another Tuesday, and it's getting even closer to spring. I can feel it in my bones, even though it's a bit nippy here in Massachusetts today. It was balmy yesterday. Well, 55 or something sweltering for those who work in Fahrenheit. For those who work in Celsius, I have no idea. Because I'm of a generation that worked in Celsius and inches anyway, and we changed in the middle of my school time, and it was like, what are we doing? What does everything mean now? But I do appreciate metric, I have to say. I cook in metric. I can't cook in the other thing. It makes no sense to me. All our lovely Antipodeans, I'm sure you heard the sad news about Shane Warne. For those of you who don't play cricket, Shane Warne was a legend. If anyone who's in the States or anywhere really, think Tom Brady, generational cricket genius. But cricket will live on, and I hope to see lots more of it over the years. I don't get to see much in the States. But let's get going, because I don't want to waste everybody's precious time. And I believe we've got a birthday somewhere.
We do. We have two. We're going to start with Amy. Amy's birthday is today.
Hi.
Amy G, happy birthday today.
Today.
Everybody knows what to do.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Wait, what?
Is it, you don't get to do much on a Tuesday birthday?
No. I mean, I went to lunch with some friends and had dinner with my parents, and
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely. That's pretty
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
I mean,
that's two things.
I actually had to go to the office today, and then we were joking. I'm the first office birthday we've had since 2020, and I was the last one in 2020 before shutdown.
Oh my goodness. That's
We had cupcakes.
fantastic. That's really great. So what are you gonna do something else on Saturday or Sunday, or are you gonna just decide that we've done it? It's great. Had a good one.
Yeah, I'm having a little Zoom party later this week, and with some long distance friends. Next week I'm actually going on a vacation. So.
Oh, wait, wow, that's great. Anywhere
nice.
exciting? Are you going abroad, or are you staying in the States?
No, I'm staying in the States, but that's it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, you deserve a nice relax, because you're one of the people who really never stopped working throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
I remember you were always up and out. But you probably need your vacations.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. How is your family? How are your parents?
Well, I have a update later, which I want to do, but I did have something I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, I love being talked to.
So, like I've been doing these Sid cuts, for lack of a better term. I'd started it last spring because I just noticed a lot of people had said they hadn't watched like non-Star Trek stuff. I'm like, why not? It's not that hard. But it's like a lot of international people can't really find it. So I was like, well, we'll check them out, and discarded,
That's really cool.
From there. And it was just like, but it was less about, for me, it was less about like, I want to see everything Sid has ever done. And it was more it was around the time you were in Australia.
And you were smart enough to come up with something for everybody to do. Yeah.
And it was like, brilliant. Also Colin wasn't doing the quizzes as much, but we were still getting like all these new people. So I wanted to like, not feel like they'd missed out on this and it was over now. So it's like, well, if we have like something fun to do on weekends, just
that's
there.
That's wonderful. And how was it? How did it? What did you think? How did you think it goes? I mean, it's kind of. It's a little bit bizarre because about me. But if it had been about Robert Redford, I'd be much more excited.
Yeah. Well, like the idea is basically like I take your plot, subplot, whatever it is, and kind of okay, these are the scenes he's in. What scenes do I need from the rest of the show to make sense of like your storyline?
Wow, that's hard work, Amy.
Yeah, it varies on the show. Like Peaky Blinders, I got done in like a day. Atlantis took me like a month.
God, you were subjected to watching Atlantis for
I know. I mean, there's been some ups and downs in terms of quality. I won't lie.
Well, I kind
And
of have a rule that I at least every few years, I would try and do a kid-friendly family show. Peaky Blinders one of them, but Atlantis, I guess, was probably the last one that, and I'm probably due for another one. Oh, Gotham. I felt Gotham was the one that plugged that gap. So
yeah, Gotham
yeah,
is still upcoming. That one I'm looking forward to because that's one of my faves.
Gotham is actually incredibly violent, but
Yeah. Oh, it is.
It's comic book violence, and I think, you know, Batman is a teenager, so it's the teenager friendly show, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's what
I wanted to bring this up now because the next arc is going to be a little different. It's Deep State Strike Back and Spooks.
Oh,
Kind of a theme.
yeah.
But it's basically like, I think there's a lot of people who've been like, I don't know, who said like, I don't understand like why you take these roles, or they're reluctant to watch them, or like, you know, you're a bad guy at best. At worst, you're like an offensive stereotype, you know? And so they're just like, I don't know, I don't want to watch that. I want to see, you know, that happen.
Well, I think people should see them,
Yeah.
because
Well,
they might figure out why.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to address. I mean, spoiler free because we haven't watched them yet, but I just wanted to ask you about that because like having watched these shows, I think many of the roles are unexpected from what the assumption would be.
Right.
Like at least your characters, like your roles are like, I kind of was trying to think of a better term for it, but I called it a sympathetic terrorist. So I kind of wanted to just ask you about that and like your process and just, you know, choosing these roles, because like you probably could have had a lot more roles and made a lot more money if you were willing to like do the death to America stereotypical terrorist, but you're purposely choosing these characters that I think purposely.
It started funnily enough, but and this is not an invitation to make a Sid cut of 24, but it started in I think it was season 6, I can't remember which season it was, of 24, might have been season 4. And it began really because of the fact that after 9/11, which is now a very long time ago, you know, 20 years.
21 years.
Yeah, there was a real dearth of Arabic or Arabic enough actors to play roles at all, but the world's attention was being turned to Arabic actors, and yes, a lot of them were going to be just people, you know, climbing. I used to talk to them about it. It was in my growing up days, it was people climbing over the side of a boat with a sword in their mouth and just going, ah. But now it's become kind of Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, I was calling it Suicide Bomber number 3.
Yeah. And it was just really important because I thought 20th Century Fox did an amazing thing when they made this film, Kingdom of Heaven. Ridley Scott made it. Whatever you think of the movie, good or bad, doesn't really matter. What they did, and this is, you know, it put Arabs historically in a really good light, a really interesting light, a really nuanced light, with Salahuddin, and I didn't play Salahuddin, that was Ghassan Massoud, who was an amazing Syrian actor. I played his right-hand person. The lead role was sympathetic to me, and we were sympathetic to each other, and you know, there was a scene where I gave him a horse, and la 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 la. There was all kinds of stuff going on, which was really sweet. And that was right after the first time anyone really, that was like 2005, the first time anyone could really broach the subject on a big scale without people going, oh my God, I don't like Arabs at all, because people hated Arabs at that time.
Yeah.
All of them, regardless of where they were from. Just like right now we're in danger of hating Russians, which is such a ridiculous thing to do, you know, not to be selective about who you despise. So it became really important to me to try and show that these people who do these bad things or seemingly bad things can be pretty interesting people underneath it all. And so I just wanted to tap into that and go, what happens here?
Because like I remember when I was watching Deep State, that's kind of what inspired this, like that character just being like very different than what I was expecting going in. And he has like, I'm not going to spoil it because we haven't watched it yet, but like a really good scene where you address the fact that like, you know, his problem isn't with the West, it's that the West is interfering in his country. And
Yeah.
it's like, so you get kind of
Well,
stuck
that was
yeah.
a really interesting role. That was probably one of the most challenging roles I've ever played. I played a character who was a Tamashek, which is a very singular, I would like to say, Midwestern African tribe. And his tribe was being dispossessed constantly by different people claiming they own their lands. And so eventually they went, this is the truth about the Tamashek, is some of them went to fight as mercenaries in support of Colonel Gaddafi, which didn't go well with the West. And then, very complicated, long story short, is a freedom fighter a terrorist, and are they interchangeable? Is a terrorist everybody's terrorist? And so it gets very complicated the more you unravel it. So the deep state character is very much a freedom fighter for me, not a terrorist.
Yeah. And it's like, especially like what I was just kind of noticing is like, you're definitely like, I don't know, seems like you're definitely seeking out those kinds of roles versus the more stereotypical roles, which are the ones that even you're on shows with other actors playing those roles. Yeah. So it's like, I was just curious, like, are you approached for like every Arabic character and you're like, no,
because what I couldn't do was sign up to anything that would encourage people to dislike the culture I was trying to actually, I guess, stand up for, I guess, maybe explain a little bit about. I think funnily, the weirdest, the thing that most excited me, and the thing I think that is most powerful about TV and art in general, is it has a power to humanize. And so I could meet people in far-flung parts of the world where they don't see anybody for very long, but they watch TV, and they are vehemently anti-Arab or Muslim or whatever. And that couple of scenes where they see you change and they see your humanity actually changes their mind about you, but also you as an in-a-box Arab. Same goes for all different everything, you know, for all different people. That's why we like to see heroes again and again and again and again, because heroes are satisfying to us, and we like to project that. But it was really important to me that everybody got to meet an Arab, especially the ones who didn't know one. And they did, and they thought, oh yeah, you know, I might be able to take him to meet mom, you know, or so that was the thing. That was really what it was.
When I was looking stuff up, I was like, have we talked about this before? And I found some like really old interview where you talked about like, we're playing a Arabic role for Western audiences, which I thought like fit a lot of those characters. Like you definitely know people are going to be watching these portrayals and you're trying to make a point, which I just thought was very interesting as I watched all these in a row. And I was like, oh God, poor you. I know.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I was like double speed. I it's like, okay, this isn't just Richard Armitage. I don't need to watch him. He's fine. Have you noticed a decrease in these roles in recent years, like that are coming across your plate? Like, do you think we're finally moving on from like the go-to bad guy?
It's done. It's people are relaxed now. And I'm looking forward now. Muslim people are in a lot of TV shows for the sake of diversity and Arabic people, and that's job done. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, and now we can talk about Muslim people with disabilities, or you know, we can get to the more important stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Avi. Happy birthday! Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, our next birthday is Shar. So we're gonna join Sharfest.
Hey!
Hey, Shar, happy birthday.
Hey, Sid, thanks. Welcome to Sharfest.
Oh, thank you. Everyone's got to say happy birthday first, and we can get right.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Shar.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
How are you, Shar?
I'm doing pretty fantastic. I'm in the middle of Sharfest. So what I do, well, you know I'm a haunter, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For those
One of those-
people who don't know what a haunter is, quickly describe, because we know, but there are some people here who weren't here when you last came on.
So I work in the haunted house industry, and I work in immersive theater in the horror industry, do horror films and scary movies and haunted houses, yeah, that kind of stuff. So anybody that's a haunter who wants to come and hang out with me, and I bring on people that are like directors of haunted movies, like independent movies, and people in the haunt industry, and we all chat, and then we have discussion groups where we all give our opinions about different things haunt wise, and that's Sharfest. So that's what I do the month of March to celebrate my birthday. And before we had lockdown, I used to go, because I can go backstage in a lot of places, so I would go backstage and like film and interview people backstage and share it with everyone. So
Wow.
then lockdown, I just switched to bringing everyone on. And
You did it.
chatting.
Absolutely. You've done such a great job, and you've done such wonderful stuff with us too at Halloween and all sorts of different times. It's been fantastic. What do you have anyone do you mentor people at all? Because
I mentor people a lot. I have a lot of haunters. They're my haunt kids. And now, because of the film that I was in, it was a documentary about the haunt industry. So because of that, now I know people in Europe, I know people in Australia, I know people across the United States. So they contact me and they want to ask me about things, and we talk about, I try to get not just, here's how to do this. I try to get like, well, how do you feel about this, and where would you like to take it, and help them with character development and why you do, because a lot of people that are haunters are not actors. But actors can be haunters and haunters can be actors, but not always, you know, it doesn't always overlap. So it's getting them to understand like things that actors know and how to work that into their performance. I haven't been doing films for the past couple of years because of COVID, but I've been doing immersive theater online. And I have one I'm working on now, which is called Blindness. And it has an in-person part, and then the beginning and the end, which I'm doing, is online. But the ones I've been doing in the past were all online, but now we're kind of doing hybrid shows.
Great.
The new thing about working in horror online, like at first I was like, how do we do this? How do you scare somebody? You see me, I see you. I can pop off and pop on. But we have found ways to do it through trial and error. And it's a lot of that leading people into safety and then hitting them with a pop that they don't think is going to happen.
Absolutely. I think you've got one of the only things that has any, for me so far, serious potential in the virtual reality world. Because when you put a goggle on someone and then you shut out the rest of the world, they're yours.
You're right. You're right. And that's when you can really play with them and bring them to where you want. I do, I have worked on these immersive horror where you put the goggles on, and one of the haunts that I work at does that. And you're strapped to a chair and you're watching a video and you see things happening. It's happening to you. And because of, they put electrodes on and you feel spiders biting you. And then the chairs jump forward and you feel like it's not for everyone.
No.
Sometimes people just want to face their fears and challenge themselves, but you know, there's an entertainment factor to it.
Absolutely.
You got to find the ones that are the ones that work that you enjoy.
I think it is so healthy, Shah. I think it's a really, I mean, being frightened is something that we, since children, instinctively get extremely excited about. And if we do it in a safe place, then it just makes us laugh and scream and all the right things.
That's exactly it. And you want to bring people there to try to find where their boundaries are. Now, as a professional, I know not to cross it. Maybe I'll push them a little bit, but I know where I want to take them and where I think we can go. But I know the signs that are, and of course, respectful places, and we'll always have a safe word. So when you're done, you say the safe word and things end, and you know, you get to leave with
I
all your
remember
body parts.
I was screaming with delight when I was a youngster when something scared the living daylights out of me. I just loved it. It was one of the most exhilarating feelings.
Me too.
Make you feel really alive. Where do you find that your comfort zone is, your personal comfort zone?
Like I much prefer in-person live theater performances than films. But the thing is, and you will 100% understand this, a live show, theater, it's like, it's there, the performance is there, you have this amazing thing, and then it's gone.
Absolutely. You know? And theater has changed so much in the last 20 years, you know. Yeah. When I was doing theater, when I do theater, it's generally pretty conventional, but now theater has just blown out of its box, and it's multimedia. You can have film running, you can have people talking to themselves, you can have 3D avatars. It's become pretty sophisticated, especially on Broadway and the West End.
So I did a show that was off Broadway, and then it came to LA and it played at the Geffen in LA.
Oh yeah. And
we had these blackout scenes. The lights would go out, even the lights, the safety lights that say exit, off. And they chain the doors. You hear them chaining the doors. They would give you fair warning, and that's it. Now you're locked in. And you know, horror plays, fear plays in the mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had 3 scenes where the lights were completely out, and there was 4 of us in this part of the cast, and we would go into the audience, and we had glasses that you could see in the dark, and we would mess with people, and sometimes you didn't have to do anything. People did it to themselves, you know. Somebody would mess with their person next to them, and we would see all this because we have the goggles on. But yeah, there is all sorts of things that go on. That's pretty fun.
That is fantastic. My goodness. Do you notice now when you are getting close to the edge of making someone genuinely upset, and you have to just and what are the signs?
Well, it depends. Usually if you're in a regular haunted house and you're doing a scene, they're done, they move on, or they'll call their safe word, mercy or whatever, and you let them go. If you're doing an immersive show, so you're working with one person or a small group, you can see it in their eyes, you can feel it sometimes, like, because I'm hands-on, so I'll be touching it, and you can feel them sweating. It depends on the show and what I'm doing. I'm listening for clues, I'm looking at them. I'm not putting anybody in a position that makes them, you know, where they're going to cry and be uncomfortable. Well, maybe they want to cry, but they'll still be smiling. Like, I can tell, and it just comes from doing it so much.
And I'm sure you can find a way to cut the atmosphere so that you break it, and whoever it is beginning to feel anxious, you can pull them right back by doing something funny, for example.
Right, and that's the trick. Stay in character, but bring them back off the edge. Like, you want to put them on the edge, make them look over, let them think, you know, metaphorically, let them think they're going to fall, but you got your arms around them and you're not going anything happen to them.
Shah, you're brilliant. We love you. Thank you so
Sid,
much.
I love you. It's always awesome to see you. And
thank
you again for doing this. You have no idea what a great connection this is. I know for me, everybody else, but for me personally, to see you and to see and hear the things that are discussed in this group that I don't have the privilege of hearing people talk about this. I only hear about things in my industry. I don't have this interaction. And thank you for this. And I absolutely love it.
Thank you very much. And thank you right back at you.
Okay. Happy Sharfest.
Thank you. Happy Sharfest.
Thanks, Shar. Happy Sharfest. All right. We're going to talk to somebody new next. Gabrielle has been lurking and finally signed up to chat.
We love that. That's a great idea. Gabrielle.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. Welcome. You're so very welcome. It's good to see you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's very nice to meet you.
Where are you?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh my goodness, you're around the corner. That's fantastic. That's really cool. How have you been throughout this whole adventure called COVID?
A little up, a little down. I think probably more down at the beginning, but you know, nature.
We've been talking about it a lot here. A lot of us have been kind of down. I mean, it's been a really rough ride.
Around Boston, which, you know, true to sort of like New England neurosis, has really clung to the masks and has really like adhered to the mandates. And now that, you know, everyone is dropping them, I feel like a lot of us are sort of like I don't buy it, even
Wait a
though
minute.
the whole time we were the ones who were like, no, 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 trust scientists. Now
Yeah.
we're like, no, I don't like what the scientists are saying, and I want to keep my mask on.
For sure. I was in a store today, in the grocery store, and 1% of the people there were wearing masks. Everybody just can't wait to rip them off and just be themselves. I don't blame them, because everybody's sick and tired of it. Did you work through COVID? Are you lucky enough to get work through it? I didn't for the first year and a half.
Yeah, I think I've been very privileged in a lot of ways throughout the pandemic. But I have worked through the whole thing. I actually just got a new job last week, so I have just started a new venture in the same juggernaut, but in a higher salary grade.
Congratulations, fantastic. What general area is it? Is it the service or is it manufacturing?
It's higher education, which usually leads people to the correct conclusion when you say juggernaut Massachusetts and higher education.
Yeah, there aren't many. Is it technical college, perhaps?
It is not. No, it's the other one up the road.
There you go, the other one. Right, fair enough. That's fantastic. And so, what's your speciality? What's your new job? What's the thing? Not necessarily specifically, but are you an educator or an administrator? Where do you land in the?
I'm not qualified to teach anyone anything. I am, and I don't. I've been with my boyfriend for almost 3 years now, and he's like, I have no idea what you do on a daily basis, which is fair, because development and fundraising is like a very squishy area. But ultimately, my function is to write. I'm a writer for the university to the rich elderly white men who have
to raise that money, to get that money
money.
rolling in. Absolutely. Yeah. Vital job. A friend of mine does the same thing in Washington. I kind of know exactly what you're up to, and it's a very, very oriented job. It's not something anybody can do. You need an enormous amount of tenacity, and you need to have a sense of humor. Because you get a lot of rejection, you get a lot of runarounds, you get a lot of problematic people who want things that you just can't deliver. The whole system's kind of is undergoing a massive shift, isn't it? So right now.
So there's definitely, I think, a push now to raise what's called like unrestricted funding or flexible funding, which basically just means the school can do whatever it wants with it and put it to whatever is going to like serve the best purposes and the current purposes, which makes a lot more sense.
Absolutely.
Logically, especially when we have big surprises like COVID, and it's like, well, there wasn't like a pandemic fund already in place. So there were a lot of sort of like sources that were drained or had to be reallocated for the purposes of making sure people were healthy.
Absolutely. And now, of course, they're combing the books to find out if they've got an oligarch donating to anybody.
Not the first time.
Gosh. Well, I think that's fascinating. What an extraordinary job. You're audacious for a living.
I don't know. It's this like I don't know. I feel like I come into this room and I was sitting here being like very nervous and like vibrating with anticipation before this. And I realized I think that I was less anxious about speaking to you because you seem very nice and very able to carry on conversations. But everyone else has, in the conversations I've been in, everyone has been like so impressive and so sort of like specialized in their talents and has like such depth of expertise. And I was like, I'm just, here.
You kind of have your own set of talents and expertise, to be honest with you. And yes, everybody does, and you're absolutely right. Thank you for noticing. There are a bunch of incredibly talented people all hanging around the place who've decided they're happy to hang out with each other every few times a month, which has been a real privilege to sort of cat wrangle everyone. It's been really good fun, thanks to Mel, who's actually been who organizes everything. How did you find us?
A lot of weird Deep Space Nine rabbit holes.
That'll eventually get you here.
Yeah, it's, you know, you sort of like circle the drain of the internet. Not that this is like the bottom of the drain of the internet. No, I'm so sorry. This is, I see, I'm nervous. I don't know words anymore. This
Don't
is
be silly. It's fine. You're doing just great. It's actually that's absolutely right. And if you go down those rabbit holes, you will eventually find us. What are you looking
Maybe.
forward to this summer?
One of my very best friends is getting married in October, and so we're having her bachelorette party. For better or for worse, it is going to be in Florida because we figured
Fantastic.
yeah, we were like, well, if COVID resurges, like Florida will still stay open. So you're like,
Smart
everything
move.
is possible in Florida. I dabble a lot in a lot of very different things and like sort of in a very like not directed way, but you know, a lot of that was put on pause for the last couple of years. And I'm just excited to have the opportunities to sort of rebuild.
To get back in the dabble game. I'm a
Yeah.
dabbler too. I like to do a little bit of everything. I'm not very
Yeah.
good at any one thing, but I like to be sort of okay at tons of different things. It's really my jam.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And how do you treat yourself? What sort of thing do you do to make yourself, like, when you give yourself a gift? Do you like to watch particular TV? Do you like to go to the movies? Do you like to go to the zoo? What do you like to do to go, right, this is going to be my gift to me?
lately it's writing Deep Space Nine fan fiction, as you do. This is a safe
There
place.
you
I can
go.
say
We
that.
just
Like,
found something. That's fantastic. Do you
Yeah.
write? Do you publish?
No, absolutely not.
Oh,
No
you're
one
going to
can
be.
ever see
You are
this.
going to be encouraged. Do you know how many people write fan fiction in this room right now?
No, I do, and I think I've probably read some of it before, knowingly or unknowingly, which is even better reason for me to never let mine see the light of day or the internet.
Oh, you're gonna wait and see. Listen, let them twist your arm. They'll convince you that it's be just loud and proud. It's gonna be
I was about to
great.
say, I'm seeing the chat.
Yep,
saying
we
things.
have
Oh,
quite a
no.
few who do that, but there's a whole subculture here, all dedicated to that from all over the world. So dive in. You don't have to share your stuff actually, but dive in to just learn stuff and get amongst people who are all jamming the same tune.
People who know me pretty well know that secretly I am pretty eccentric. So they're like, you know, like, oh, Deep Space Nine fan fiction and joining an activist marching bands. Like, this is just par for the course.
What is an activist marching band?
Oh, have you ever been? I can hear my boyfriend laughing from the other room. I wonder if there are in Massachusetts people here who have heard of the Honk Festival, which is a sort of another subculture in the world of what are called activist marching bands, which are bands that play usually a mixture of Balkan and New Orleans and like big band inspired music, but they also sort of like play for and promote social causes, usually.
Wow, what an extraordinary thing.
It's fantastic. It's the most joyful and sort of like an ecstatic loss of self when you hear these bands playing, because they're just so loud and they're so happy, and they're really, really digging what they do. And I was like, gosh, I could do that all the time instead of just once a year.
What a great way to be active about causes. I mean, I can just imagine a big band and people marching down the street and singing, you know, "Get the out of Ukraine." It's another way of delivering the message, isn't it? And that would be so good.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
often
much
swear.
palatable with a tuba, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, you are full of surprises. We love that. Well, you have to come back and show us some stuff and take us through the march. I'd love to learn a bit more about, especially the activism marching band. And I'd want to hear a lot more about clarinet too, because I think it's one of the most divine instruments.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
It is beautiful. So we'd love to. Will you come back and give us a little bit of stuff on, if you ever feel like it?
Yeah, once I feel like I actually have legs to stand on and I've been to a rehearsal.
You know what? The perfect thing is you're taking us from the beginning, and that's normally people have been doing it for years, and it's a really unique point of view to be like, this is how this begins.
Yeah. No, I will share more. I'm like, I have a lot of other weird hobbies, so
bring them on. Bring them on. You're in the right place.
I think so.
Thank you, Gabrielle. It's been lovely talking to you. Really nice. I hope you come back as many times as you feel like.
I for sure will. Thank you. This was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Gabrielle. Our very first ever Honk Festival activist band person. This is
I
amazing.
love that.
There's a lot of Googling happening right now, I can tell you that. All right, we're gonna go check in with Portia.
Portia!
Hello.
Hello, Portia. How are ya?
I'm hanging in there.
How's the last few weeks been?
Well,
Is that your cat?
no, that's actually my brother's cat. I'm actually on the other side of the state than where I normally am.
Okay. Dealing with your brother's cat.
Okay, so my birthday is next month, but I'm not really sure where I'm going to be. So while I was up here, I wanted to say hi from the room I was born in, because that's not something that everyone gets to say.
Is this the room you were born in?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's wild. That's astonishing. Oh my goodness, Portia. Do you think there's a chance you might not? And would you like us to give you a happy birthday just in case you don't make it?
I mean,
Can we?
I guess you can.
Then let's, just in case you do not make it, let's wish you happy birthday, because you might not be in this room, and doesn't get more perfect than that to wish you happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Portia. in case
Happy
you don't
birthday,
make it.
Portia.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday.
Happy birthday, Portia.
Portia.
Thank
That's
you.
brilliant, Portia. That really
Bingo.
is.
Thank you, everyone.
It's quite something, isn't it, when that happens? Are things looking up for you? Maybe.
I don't think they're looking down. There's I don't know about the wider birth of existence, but I am going to be coming to Chicago, so that's pretty cool.
That's very cool. And so, and what's the weather like in your part of Michigan? Is it Michigan?
Yeah, it's still Michigan. Yep. I'm in the UP right now, which is the funky whale shape above the hand.
Oh yes, okay. Is it absolutely freezing?
It's not too bad right now. I think it's about, today was in the like high 30s, maybe 40s.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad.
You're just working day to day. You just planning, not making any plans, just seeing what comes.
Yes. Speaking of plans, I made notes for what to talk about, and I still didn't do it.
We have time. Let's stick to your notes.
I'm sorry. No, in general, plans, I try to make them, they don't work out, still working on that. But since I'm up in this house, I had access to my Nana's photo album, and I sent Mel some pictures from it, and Max helped me edit them together so I wouldn't have like 900 slides.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
This is my fault. I thought, well, we'll just go in the order that they show up. So this is my Nana and my grandpa, and this is a dog that they had named Buttons.
Oh, it's a beagle, I think.
The big one's actually his mom. He's the little puppy, and then you can see my grandpa holding him in the lower.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh yeah, I miss photographs. They're fantastic. The redacted passage there, what is that about?
Okay, so that's from a newspaper clipping, and it ended up in these photos because we couldn't figure out where it would go. But my Nana's name was Mary. It wasn't her like full-time job, but she would do seamstress stuff. And it was a news article she had in her book, and I redacted the stuff, but it said the Stitch in Time gal, and I just thought that was funny because I probably read this before, but it didn't mean anything to me. And then the picture with my grandpa with the tree, it's a little hard to see, but at the top my Nana wrote on it, and then the big blocky letters was his writing, and I just thought that was really cool. I love this one of you. And he wrote, so do I, it's the best one of me.
Oh, that's too sweet. Oh, so he was in the Navy, obviously.
Yes, he was. He was a submariner.
Wow.
And this is one of my favorite pictures of them. My Nana actually had this on the wall when I was little.
Wow. Is that like coral necklace? It's just such it's just such a great photo. It's almost like a work of art with those glasses. That's fantastic. Describe her to us if you don't mind.
She was very thrifty. She knew how to, like, when I would ask her to get her gifts, she would ask for like pens or rubber bands and things like that. She's very she loved organizing. We would go to garage sales and we had like a book. It was a notebook about this thick and it had every single book that we owned. So if we bought new books, they wouldn't be repeats.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's totally organized. That's librarian standard organization.
Yeah. She liked to keep things neat. We would read together every night, and like we would read the at the front of the book where it says where things are printed and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, we would read that as well and stuff.
Wow. Apart from sewing, which I know she loved, and reading, what did you like to, did you ever go to the park together, or was there something that you always did together?
She was kind of like my stay-at-home mom, but she was my grandma.
Yeah, that's what, you're so lucky to have had her, as you said. Thank you for showing us those photographs. It was something, I think it's so important to talk about people we've lost, talk about their lives, because I just think that's the most respectful thing you can do for someone. It's just wonderful that they're remembered to a whole bunch of people, because that's just because they deserve it. And clearly, your grandma, she did absolutely deserve that.
I also had a few crafts that she did. She also made candles.
Oh my God! Wow, and that is wait, that's astonishing. That's a candle.
Yep.
What the?
It's a painted candle, but it's a candle.
That is an amazing candle. That's the candle to end all candles. And that would last, if you lit that, which obviously you never will, it would last you a year.
Something like that.
That's amazing. Wow. I wish she was here. I could just drill her about everything she's doing. I would love to do that and find out about her husband and what he was like, and bring all these people to life again, because that's what talking does. That's fantastic. Right. So what is the first thing on your list that you were going to talk to me about?
I had the pictures. There was actually probably like 5 more, but I want the person after me to get to go. So I wanted to remind you, you'd spoken about it quite a while ago. You had said you wanted to like write notes for Django, or like record like your stories for him about your life.
Yeah.
Because I got to know my Nana for so long, and there's like, as a kid, you don't really think about it. You go, oh, they're going to be here forever. I'll eventually hear everything.
Yeah.
But I know there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know. So I wanted to remind you in case you forgot.
I take that reminder. Thank you. I will definitely, I count myself reminded, and thank you for reminding me. It's a good idea. I sort of think I put off again and again and again for the same reason. That's the last thing on your list? I'm not making sure we get everything, because I'm not.
I also had like specific songs, but we don't need to go into that. You can just type in them to the YouTube and listen to all the music.
That's the organized person in you coming out. That's that librarian in you is coming out. That's fantastic. That's really cool. Really excellent. Thank you, Portia, and thank you for sharing all those photographs with us. And come back and share anytime. Come back and share more. I'm curious to know what cards life deals you in the next few weeks, and what you're going to get up to. Be kind to yourself.
I'll try.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thanks, Portia. We'll see you in Chicago. All right, and we are now going to meet Sabra, who is new-ish.
Yep, I've been here a couple of weeks.
Hello.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you.
You too.
Please say your name for me, so that I get it right.
Sabra.
Sabra. Perfect. It's a delightful name. Really unusual name.
Yeah, my dad named me. It's actually my middle name because my first name is very boring. And when I came out as non-binary, it suits me better.
Ah, it's a great name. It's a
And
really,
funny you
really
should
great name.
mention Portia. I'm doing a musical with a character named Portia after the Julius Caesar character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is she
It's
as
called Something
trouble?
Rotten. And it's the first live theater I've gotten to do in 3 years, and we opened last weekend. So
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
yeah, it's just it's wonderful to be back. I didn't know how much I missed it.
Oh, I'm so glad for you.
I was supposed to direct Coriolanus before the shutdown happened, but that may still happen. But I'm
It
just a huge
will.
Shakespeare nerd.
What do you have a favorite, like, yearly, or do you have a favorite? Is there a play that you want to direct? The Coriolanus, obviously, that's just on your bucket list of plays.
Oh gosh. I'd love to do Angels in America professionally. I did that one in
Oh,
college. I know
wow.
that one's that's a heavy hitter. I don't
I
know.
saw that in
I
Los Angeles back in the 90s, when it moved to Los Angeles. I guess it moved from New York.
yeah.
Boy, it blew me away.
I saw the recent revival when I was in New York, and I'm in Washington State, so like New York's a hell of a travel for me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I want to do that one. I'd like to think my favorite play hasn't been written yet.
Okay,
So
that's what I say when people ask about my favorite character, which one? Yeah, because
yeah,
that's a
there's still so much to do out there, and
yeah.
live theater is a gift, and I'm supposed to be doing opera next month, which is fun, and I haven't done that for 10 years.
Oh, do you sing?
Both, all of the above.
Wow.
Um, I started life, or I started life when I was younger. I was classically trained as a soprano, and then
Wow.
went through college, and kind of realized I like musical theater more than opera, and so I
Hmm.
kind of had to retrain my voice into that. But I think I can still do it. But the local community program is doing HMS Pinafore, and they need bodies on stage, and our music director for Something Rotten was just like, hey, so do you know about our opera program? So I got poached out into that, and that's very fun.
That's amazing. What's your favorite when you were learning classical? What was your where did you fly? What was your favorite thing to sort of sing? And I'll obviously get an understanding of what kind of voice you have.
Oh
If you
gosh. I was a soprano. I never got to do any full operas, but I really liked uh Xerxes by Handel. That one was just really good and had a lot of solid there's one aria from that I still have in my repertoire. Alma del Core, which or no, Omer my Fu, Alma del Core is something else. Um which led to me learning functional Italian. So
wow,
well,
wow,
you sing a lot of it when you're classically trained, and it's
yes,
easier if you just know what you're singing instead of having to
it does
translate
help.
every single time.
It does help for sure. And so
And
you're mezzo soprano. Was that
true soprano.
Oh wow, okay. So I because I that's a coloratura, a
Well,
Mozart thing.
coloratura is a style of writing, not a voice type.
Oh, good to know.
The most famous aria probably is Queen of the Night, the one from
Magic flute.
yes. And that is a coloratura piece, because of the runs she has to do and the up and down and the big vocal part, which I'll spare you all trying to imitate. That is a coloratura piece.
Right.
You can be a true soprano and have a true soprano part, but not sing coloratura because it's the way the song is written, not you.
It was a style. Yes,
Yeah,
I see
Mozart
what
was very
you mean.
fond of it.
That's fantastic, Saber. I didn't understand. I didn't know that, and I've been a bit of an opera fan for a long time. So that's something that I've just learned like 36 years into my opera interest. Well,
Glad to help.
this musical that you're doing next week, and you've
Mhm.
started this week.
Yeah.
What's your run like? How many performances will you get?
Only 6, 7 if you count our muck-up rehearsal that we get to do on Thursday. Because we're community, so we only do it on the weekends.
Yeah.
I wish it was more, but at the same time, like I am so sick of swabbing my nose every day.
Oh God.
Because that's our
Yes.
safety thing is like all
Yeah,
our
you
rehearsal
have to.
process was masked, and now to do it without masks, we have to, test every day. And
I don't know how you sing with masks on. I mean,
they
that
actually have specialized masks. I think they're called ergami. and they're kind of this folded paper that creates resonance over your face instead of just sticking to your mouth like most masks do.
Oh, okay. How has your your 2 years been?
Ups and downs. I was a pizza delivery person for most of it, and that business boomed, so we were never in danger. At least from closing. I had to move home with my parents, like a lot of people, and
Like a lot of people.
left a very good job in Seattle that I'm very sad about, but you know, it was the right choice because my dad is sick, so I came home to be a caregiver.
Oh,
And
that's very good of you. Yeah.
yeah, it helps that I like my parents.
It does. It does. And how were they about you coming out?
My dad hasn't really he's got dementia, so it's not really
Okay.
something that he
Okay, he's
notices.
not
I
gonna
still
have.
go by my birth name for him because it's
Yeah.
mom's okay about it. Like she still calls me my birth name a lot, and the they them thing is she's older and
It's actually very difficult for
a little
everybody.
girl.
Yeah, yeah. It's very
Um,
difficult for everybody. That adaptation
yeah,
is a very difficult thing to it's, I mean, you're asking to fundamentally kind of
yeah,
splice into language that has been taught over, you know, it's difficult. So
yeah,
that's
but
always, I'm sure a lot of people are sympathetic about people having problems with that
yeah.
particular. I think it's,
But like all my friends have been super great about it, and like everyone in the cast, like sometimes they'll slip up, but they always immediately are just like, "Oh, sorry."
yeah,
And
we're learning,
yeah,
but we
it's
all will slip up.
my director was like very tentative at first because he's just like, I don't want to offend you. Like, what do you want to do? And I'm just like, my dude, just give me a costume and I'll go with it.
And are you still in the Washington area, did you say?
Yeah, I live on the coast, Westport, if anyone knows where the hell that is.
I don't. I know there's great fishing up there. I mean, that's one
Yeah,
of the.
we are a fishing town. For a while, we were the salmon capital of the world back in the like 70s. Basically, if you know where Seattle is, take I-5 to Olympia, and then there's a Highway 9 that goes all the way to the coast. And
Yeah.
just before you drive into the ocean, you're there, but you may as well keep going.
So what are the people you work with like? Because that's always, have you worked with them a lot, your community theatre?
My community theater, this is my second show with this particular set. I did it way back in the day when I was a lot younger.
Because it's always kind of interesting, isn't it, when you meet a group of people who are like-minded enough to have the courage to get together and perform for public.
Yeah.
And it's always surprising just how wide a variety of people you get there from. You just go, who'd have thunk you would be?
They are
an
all
expert?
so great, and getting to know everyone has been very fun. And like there's one kid in the cast who reminds me of me because it's his first show and he's 18. And that was me because I didn't have a drama program in school. So my first musical was when I got into college.
Yeah.
And it was, I had never danced a day in my life, and it was 42nd Street.
Oh my God. Well, musicals are pretty, I mean, I recommend everybody who isn't an actor does theatre, does community.
Oh God, yeah.
Because it's so good for you to just fall on your face and make an idiot of yourself and then work hard to get it right. It's something so cathartic about doing that in public because it just absolves you from doing all kinds of other stuff in public.
Well,
You've done your
has
public.
just gotten so much better.
Exactly.
Like just doing the
everything
show.
else is easy. Yes, exactly. But musicals is a whole different level because you need a lot of experts to do musical. You need people who can play instruments. You need people who can conduct and understand scores and music and everything.
Our pit band is amazing.
I'm just shocked you have community musical theatre at all. I mean, in the Great Britain, every orchestra is struggling to survive.
Like a lot of this is arranged through our local college.
Yeah,
and they give up the spaces for the community stuff to use. And
God bless those colleges, man. That's the best. I mean, where would we be? I mean, you know, that's such a wonderful, wonderful thing to. Everybody, if you've got anything like this in your area, and you have anything, even a thimbleful of courage, just tiptoe in there and have a look, peek through the curtains, and ask to come and hang out for a day or two and see if
you
you
don't
like
even have to sing or act.
You don't
we take everybody
else. Yeah. I recommend it very much. I mean, it's certainly good for youngsters who are having trouble with self-confidence and stuff. Well, I think it's just fantastic. Thank you, Sandra. I just think it's great that you, and I wish we could talk a little bit longer, but if you've got a photo montage, we will talk through everything you've got. We'd love to do that because
The show
also
photos got posted today, so I'll put that together.
and I'd like to talk a little bit more about you and your choices and how the world has adapted to you and how you've adapted to the world and things, because I'm very interested in that subject.
I'd like that.
Great.
Thanks, Sabra. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Have a good week, everybody.
Have a lovely
Sabra,
whatever
thanks for sending us on our way.
Stay safe.
Bye.